Some places don't hurt you suddenly. They drain you quietly, day by day. You stay because leaving feels heavy, because staying feels familiar, because you've convinced yourself that enduring is the same as being strong. But what if the bravest thing you could do is not to hold on any longer? What if strength sometimes means choosing peace over what you've already survived? This is a story about that moment, the quiet one, where everything changes. There was a young woman who lived in a quiet countryside settlement where days passed slowly and expectations were handed down without question. Her home was modest, worn by time, shaped by seasons, but it was familiar, and familiarity had always felt safer than change. Each morning she stepped outside before the day fully began. The air was cool, the ground damp with dew. She moved through familiar routines, not because they fulfilled her, but because they asked nothing new of her. Inside, however, she felt a quiet resistance she had learned to ignore. The people around her believed endurance was proof of character. When things felt heavy, she was told to be patient. When she felt tired, she was reminded that everyone carried burdens. Leaving was seen as weakness, staying was praised, and so she stayed. Over time, she learned to soften herself. She chose her words carefully. She learned when to stay silent. She adjusted her needs so others would not feel uncomfortable. What she called patience was slowly becoming self-erasure. At the edge of the settlement lived an older woman who spent her evenings seated outside, watching the sun settle behind the hills. She moved slowly, spoke gently, and seemed unbothered by the passing of time. Many people passed her, few stopped. One evening the young woman did. They sat in silence, listening to the wind move through the grass. Then the older woman spoke, not loudly, but clearly. She said that many people confuse endurance with strength, but endurance without peace, she explained, slowly empties the heart. Sometimes, she said, leaving is the most honest thing a person can do. That night, sleep did not come easily. The words echoed in her mind. She replayed years of moments she had dismissed, the fatigue, the quiet resentment, the feeling of being present but unseen. For the first time she asked herself not why she should stay, but why she was afraid to leave. In the days that followed, clarity arrived slowly. Conversations that once felt tolerable now felt heavy. Situations she had accepted without question now felt impossible. Standing alone at the edge of the fields one afternoon, she understood something quietly and completely. Staying was costing her more than leaving ever could. That evening, she packed only what she could carry. There was no argument, no announcement. The decision had been forming long before her hands began to move. Leaving did not feel dramatic. It felt necessary. At dawn, she stepped onto the dirt road leading away. The path curved gently through hills and fields. Behind her lay familiarity. Ahead lay uncertainty. But with every step forward, something inside her felt lighter. Along the way, she met others who had chosen differently. A man who left a life that looked impressive but felt empty. A woman who walked away from expectations she never chose. A traveler who said that peace often begins where pretending ends. None of them spoke of regret. Seasons passed. She learned to rest without guilt, to listen inwardly, to understand that peace does not arrive loudly. It settles quietly, like calm after a long storm. When she returned briefly to the settlement, nothing had changed, except her. The same voices spoke, the same expectations lingered, but she no longer shrank. She listened calmly, and when she left again, she did so without explanation. The older woman's chair stood empty. A neighbor said she had lived fully and left peacefully. Standing there, the young woman finally understood. The old woman had not been lonely. She had been free. Sometimes walking away is not weakness. It is choosing yourself before resentment teaches you to disappear. Strength does not always announce itself. Sometimes it simply chooses a different road.